up, guys? Welcome back to News Dump.
Happy 4th of July!
Yes!
Why are you even watching YouTube videos right now? Why aren't you outside blowing up fireworks and/or grilling and/or getting blackout drunk like I am right now?
Yes, while you're watching this, we are wasted.
Whatever, you're here. So I guess it's time to take a very patriotic freedom dump.
America. Starting off, if we had to make a list of the most rah-rah American movies ever made, 1986's Top Gun, about a bunch of top Navy fighter pilots training to shoot down dirty we're just kidding. It's a bunch of lubed up guys playing volleyball.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that would be near the top of the list.
Yeah.
Maybe at the #1 spot. It's basically a Navy recruitment video / gay porn, but
Yeah.
who gives a shit? Fighter jets are awesome, and Highway to the Danger Zone is one of the greatest songs of all time.
That's true. Anyways, because Top Gun was so successful and remains such an iconic film, Paramount announced plans for a sequel back in 2010 that would reunite Tom Cruise with original director Tony Scott. But since Tony Scott's death in 2012, the fate of the sequel has been questionable to say the least.
But since major movie studios never let the tragic death of a director get in the way of massive profits, the project is obviously still moving forward.
Yes.
And last weekend, at a press day for Terminator Genisys, producer David Ellison revealed that Maverick will definitely be back, and that it'll be shot in 3D with minimal CG, which is good.
That's good.
And that drones will play a big part in the story.
Man, I'm just waiting for that Goose prequel. I want to know more about Goose before he died.
He had a wife and kids.
Poor man. So anyways, he said, absolutely, I think this is a movie that should be in 3D and in IMAX. And again, something that you can shoot practically. As everyone knows with Tom, he is 100% going to want to be in those airplanes shooting it practically. When you look at the world of dogfighting, what's interesting about it is that it's not a world that exists to the same degree when the original movie came out. This world has not been explored. It is very much a world we live in today where it's drone technology, and 5th generation fighters are really what the United States Navy is calling the last man-made fighter that we're actually going to produce. So it's really exploring the end of an era of dogfighting and fighter pilots, and what that culture is today are all the fun things that we're gonna get to dive into in this movie.
So, having a Top Gun sequel set 30 years later during actual wartime and not just the Cold War, with a 52-year-old Tom Cruise representing a bygone era of warfare,
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like it could actually be good.
Yeah.
Especially if they do actually shoot it as practical as possible with actual jets and actual drones, I guess.
Yeah, Top Gun's not one of those sacred movies. I don't care if a sequel comes out, so.
I don't really either. I'm just, from a quality standpoint, I think it could actually be good.
Yeah. But moving on from great fictional Americans like Maverick to great real-life Americans like Stephen Colbert, he doesn't take over The Late Show until September. But in the meantime, he's keeping his TV hosting skills limber by guest hosting a local access news show in Monroe, Michigan.
Yeah, the show, only in Monroe, is usually just a rundown of local community news, interviews with community members, and sometimes features a cat veterinarian segment. And Stephen Colbert's 41-minute takeover of the show was no exception, except there was no cat veterinarian, unfortunately.
Damn. Colbert interviewed the show's actual host, did an entire segment about a Yelp review war between a local restaurant and a customer, and then interviewed Eminem in a style reminiscent of Between Two Ferns, with Colbert knowing absolutely nothing about Eminem aside from the fact that he's a rapper from Michigan.
Yeah, he tries.
Local rapper Eminem.
Tries to give him advice. It's like, you should really keep your options open. Do you have a backup plan like carpentry?
Yes. Some nice blue-collar job.
He's like, as a guy who's been through the entertainment industry, I feel like I should bestow some
tips.
advice.
Yeah.
So anyway, seeing one of the most talented late-night hosts ever hosting a lo-fi, standard-def, 4x3 public access show in a dead silent room with no studio audience is really bizarre.
Yeah.
But if anything, it just further proves how talented Colbert is, that he was able to make the entire segment really funny despite being stripped of all the fancy window dressing that he usually has.
Yeah. But speaking of other great Americans, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is basically the biggest action star in the game at this point, at least today, juggling big movie and TV projects like some sort of sorcerer, and it was just announced that the next big franchise he'll be starring in will be a big screen adaptation of 1980s arcade game Rampage? What?
Yeah, so if you didn't have the pleasure of playing Rampage or any of its sequels, which really only upgraded the graphics and nothing else. The gameplay stayed exactly the same.
Punching buildings and pulling people out.
The concept is very simple. You take control of one of 3 giant monsters, which are usually a lizard, a gorilla, and a wolf, and then you smash buildings and fight off the military.
How could King Kong or Godzilla have been an inspiration for this? I don't know. So anyways, how a game whose protagonists are city-destroying monsters will translate into a movie is anyone's guess, and The Rock's role hasn't even been announced, but it could be fun to see a sillier, dumber version of the kaiju movies that have for some reason gotten popular again in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, please do not go the complete opposite of that and make it gritty. Because that'll just make it really generic and unoriginal.
Yeah, like a Godzilla or a King Kong.
Like Rampage is a ridiculous, silly game. The only way a movie will work is if it's just as ridiculous.
I just want to see The Rock climbing up buildings and punching through and ripping people out and eating them. A giant rock.
You think he's gonna be the gorilla?
No, I'm not saying that. He's the wolf, obviously, Elliot. Tom Cruise is the lizard.
I mean, it would be pretty funny if they mocapped him as one of the monsters.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I just hope it's silly and not... Don't try to make it fucking Godzilla. Don't make it Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Do your own thing.
Those already have. Those exist.
Anyway, speaking of ridiculous and American,
Yeah.
there's a new trailer for Netflix's Wet Hot American Summer Show that comes out at the end of this month. And it looks like fans of the original movie will be more than satisfied with this absurd prequel filmed 15 years later.
It's crass and gross and 80s as hell, and the cast is obviously very stacked. Almost everyone from the original is back, along with some new additions like Kristen Wiig, Jordan Peele, John Slattery, Michael Cera, Chris Pine, Weird Al, Lake Bell, John Hamm, and H. John Benjamin in an actual human role and not just a can of vegetables like in the original.
I mean, you can really tell that, if nothing else, these people all wanted to be here and all had a great time making it, which usually translates to lots of laughs.
Yeah.
We won't know for sure, though, until July 31st when all 8 episodes drop on Netflix.
The trailer itself made me laugh pretty much in every scene, so if you have seen the original movie, you're gonna love this.
I can see how if you haven't seen the original, it would be
weird
and confusing, but...
Anyways, let's close out this freedom dump with some videos that you should go watch right now. Starting with this genius live-action version of classic N64 game GoldenEye 007, which everyone, remembers fondly while conveniently forgetting that the AI was absolute shit.
Terrible AI. I mean, there's a reason everyone's favorite GoldenEye memories involve multiplayer, and that reason is named Natalia. She's the woman you're supposed to protect from endless hordes of bad guys, but you're only protecting her from herself, because she just calmly walks into enemy gunfire and gets herself killed over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And they just nailed that here.
And finally, Homestar Runner may just be a distant memory at this point, but its creators, Matt and Mike Chapman, have a new TV show coming up on Disney XD, and the spirit of Homestar Runner is very much alive in the new preview shorts that they've been releasing online.
Yeah, so the show's called Two More Eggs, and they have said that Disney gave them pretty much free reign to do whatever they want. And that results in some really, truly weird kids' TV content, something that the world has been sorely in need of for a while.
Yeah. So
it looks like this generation needs their own Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even Rugrats is if you look back on that, is kind of psychotic at some points. It looks like it'll just be a random assortment of recurring segments done in different animation styles, and the ones that they showed off so far are CGI pals, about a bunch of hideously rendered CG characters who are better than normal cartoons simply because they're CG.
Yeah, then there's Hot Dip, which is a parody of cool foods marketed at kids and are not for moms.
No!
And then there's Dooble, which is very bizarre. It's hard to describe. It's just this guy who walks around going like, doobly 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 doo.
I loved Homestar Runner, so I'll probably enjoy this.
It feels so much like Homestar Runner, like the tone and
How do you fight with boxing gloves on your hands?
Yeah.
They'll be releasing a new short every Tuesday on Disney XD's YouTube channel, and this is the most excited that probably either of us have ever been for a new children's TV show in a long time. So there you go.
Anyway, that's our show.
Woo!
Happy 4th of July, and remember, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're gonna live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. All right, you alien assholes. Welcome to Earth. In the words of my generation, up yours. And
I'm back!
they're making a sequel to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want some classic ETC content that's relevant to today, stay indoors and watch this video we made last 4th of July featuring our favorite fireworks mistakes. Or go outside and film your own fireworks mistakes.
But we didn't tell you to do that.
It's not our fault when you lose a finger.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Don't forget, tomorrow we have an interview with the directors of the galas, so watch that.
Yeah.